The world of entertainment is in a very risky place right now. We are seeing thousands of games being removed from platforms, even more posts being hidden on social media, and in some cases, products disappearing from the internet. But now we are having to talk about creators losing their livelihoods and being censored by payment processors. Now, I love to use my platform for good. I try to highlight cases where people are being wronged, where creators are being silenced. And of course, I've been talking so much about the censorship going on in the video game industry. And now I have a few more examples to show off. All of the people I am talking about will be linked down below, all of their social platforms. But let's start off with this. I had talked about this in another video because this Japanese politician, Zenko Kurashita, had made a post about this artist who had said, I was uploading NSFW illustrations to Adobe Cloud and my account got banned without any prior warning. So the art that they were making for themselves was censored. They could no longer access their Adobe account. That means that they had their purchase ripped away from them. They can't access the content that they might have been spending dozens or hundreds of hours on, and that is an absolutely terrible place to be. And they're trying to file an appeal, but if it doesn't work out, they might have to ditch Adobe altogether, and they're just too high-handed. And he had posted about this, saying reports of censorship in Japan. It has been reported that after uploading NSFW illustrations to the cloud service, the account was frozen without prior notice and the appeal was rejected. It is no exaggeration to say that even the contents of the cloud are now being monitored. We have Archcast also going through a similar situation. He, of course, is a content creator here on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you know, but he said, I was just randomly deplatformed from PayPal. No reason given other than unusual activities, nonsense, of course, and I was redirected to a page telling me about the rules of card companies. This is at the hands of card companies, and we are unfortunately going to continue to see a lot of censorship like this. If you are just somebody who might make a few bucks on a platform like YouTube, right, you are at risk. And luckily, in the United States, we had just seen an executive order being signed that hopefully will fully challenge debanking. I did another video on it. It will be linked down below, but we think that Visa and MasterCards are going to get absolutely screwed over by this. It clearly states banking services can't be denied because of protections provided by the Constitution of the United States. It mentions companies have 180 days to remove any provisions from their TOS that mention reputational damage. And we know that was a big reason that Valve said MasterCard gave them, that MasterCard referred them to a page that talked about potential brand damage. Now, this is only in the United States, and unfortunately, the creators I am talking about in this video are not in the United States, but it is still important to point out that this is happening, and we are seeing some governments at least fighting back against worldwide censorship. We don't know the extent that this is going to go. Obviously, there's still a lot of questions we have, but that's at least some kind of positive news. Though, I also wanted to talk about Tobias, or otherwise known as Sin's House, on social media. Great artist, absolutely fantastic. I actually had a chance to discuss this with him, but he had posted that his Patreon account was deleted without notification, and he was still trying to figure out what had happened. But he had just given this update saying, it's official, my Patreon account is dead. I will post every stupid detail of why my account was deleted, what plans are coming next, and what will happen. Now, I, of course, like many other people, wanted to know what the truly disgusting, degenerate, awful content was that Patreon said, no, we definitely can't host this on our platform. And we're talking about some extremely tame art. Now, I actually did get a chance to talk with him in private messages, and he did say it is perfectly fine that I share these screenshots with you guys, but he said that he was banned for these 3 posts. This girl is a new OC he made, inspired by a real model, an adult that was flat-chested, right? The thing is, Patreon told me that when I draw a new girl, I should ask for their permission, and I did, but instead of telling me yes or no, they deleted my account. So right there is a massive problem that Patreon says you have to ask us if you can even post your content. That is insane, but we're talking about content that I would say is pretty freaking tame. It's just a 19-year-old girl, right? She looks really pretty here. Nothing bad about this. Then you have the other other drawing is this one, a free design I made for a Pokemon TCG playmat. Lily is a problematic character, so I specified in the description that this drawing had no NSFW variations previously. For that reason, still, it seems it was too much for Patreon. Both of these look really freaking good. And then he said the funny part is that I used a swimsuit from the anime as a reference. Drawing her with wider hips wasn't enough, it seems. The third drawing is an NSFW drawing of a girl who was already authorized by Patreon to draw. They gave me permission, but still they considered it problematic, even if it's not weird at all, just nudity. The most frustrating part is that neither of these two drawings have NSFW versions except the third one, whereas I already had direct permission, and in the end this was all the information I was given. And then there was just the update that I had highlighted where it says, "This is Saul from Patreon's Trust and Safety Team reaching out with a status update on your recent appeal. After review, your appeal has been denied. While we won't reinstate this account, you may create a new account in the future. Please wait at least 2 months." What is the point to say you can make a new account if you could just at that point reinstate the account that already had the following, that already had the audience? It's like a tactic where they're trying to get you to sign back up, but with a fraction of your audience, so that hopefully they can like curb this content from being popular on this platform. That is an absolutely disgusting way to approach this situation. And over the years, right, Patreon has cracked down on NSFW and adult content and content that they deem as like too offensive, but this is absolutely terrible, and this should not be happening to anybody, period. But Tobias actually had pointed out that not even that long ago, back in July, he had made this post over on his like secondary account on X, and it just says, "A humble fantasy. Men only have one fantasy, dating a curvy Latina." Super, super cute art, in my opinion. It got a lot of attention. 9.6 million views, almost 100,000 likes, which is cool. But if you actually start looking at the comments, there are quite a few people who are a little bit upset by this, and that's not the Latina palette. You're dragging around a fallacy by tossing around a word that stereotypes an entire group, then parading a token minority as if that covers your tracks. Latina, relatively light skin and red hair and blue eyes, though, so there was a little bit of backlash, maybe. His accounts actually went through a wave of mass reporting, and that could be a reason why, but you would think that Patreon would then say, "Yeah, we did suspend your account because there were people who were saying that this content is unacceptable," and they were like very upset over it. We don't have all of the details at this point in time. Maybe there will be more that they can give Tobias, but yeah, this is just a terrible situation all around. All of this is really terrible in my opinion, so make sure you go and follow all of the accounts that I mentioned. They will be linked in the description, and of course I will be keeping my eye on this, but we are seeing a lot of creators being censored worldwide, and of course this is very worrying, especially for gamers and people who just appreciate artists on social media. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.